has officially begun, and we're looking forward to 10 very, very exciting races. However, it is now race day. Henrik, we are very excited. It's an honor to be here. Finally, we're looking at race day 1. Tell us a little bit about the distance.
200 kilometers out there. The pigeons are racing. They are race ready. You've got to witness today how the world-class pigeons are really racing. This series is not about just coming home, bring the pigeons home. This is about genetics. I was stunned to see all the planning, our fanciers across the world, from Poland down south here to South Africa, how people just plan strategic breeding and studying their pedigrees and just sort of go into a next level. I'm amazed to see how they lift the bar year after year. We can really literally see the quality of the pigeons, how it improves every year, because they really know what they're in for if they want to do good in Africa Pro. Otherwise, there's money down the drain. This is really, it's about real good planning strategy and exciting times now, because the pigeons is flying as we speak, and no, very excited to see how this whole season of 3,670 kilometers is going to unfold.
Now, certainly very, very exciting times. Now, there's been a few changes for our season for 2025. Would you like to shed some light on those changes?
Yeah, so we actually decided after last year's final, we're going to build in another extra race of 550 kilometers just before the final. And the only reason for that is to make 100% sure at the end of this long series that we really crown the world's best pigeons as well as the best fanciers. That there's no dispute that this guy really deserves if they come out on the top, yeah. And yeah, so we wonder how everything going to unfold, because by the end of the season we're going to start witnessing warmer weather. The summer is going to be here. Right now as we speak, it's a crisp, beautiful morning. It's cold weather, and yeah, we can keep following these results and see which fancy is coming through the end of the season and who's featuring right now as well. Interesting statistics we can follow in Africa Pro.
Now, certainly very interesting dynamics. Now, talking about the weather, we are going into a new season. However, Liberation is this morning. What was the weather like this morning?
Beautiful, crisp morning, clear skies. It rained just 2 days ago. That's the reason why we moved the race to this morning. And the pigeon's going to actually have a little bit of a headwind. We expect any velocity of 1380, maybe 1400 or slower even. So there's a little bit of a headwind. Perfect day to start race 1 and to kick off the season is here.
Now, I know our head handler, Ruan, is waiting for us to throw over to him. So I think we should go over and take a look at how Liberation happened.
Of course, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. We arrived early this morning for the very first race of the 2025 Africa Pro Series. We're looking forward. The pigeons had a fantastic pre-season. They trained very well, coming well from the trainings. They are super healthy, and I think it's going to be the best series that we ever had this season. I would like to wish all the fanciers and all the pigeons the best of success for 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa Pro 2025. After months of planning, breeding, training, and waiting, the countdown is officially over. The African skies are waiting. In moments from now, 2,700 pigeons will burst into flight. This isn't just the start of a race. This is the ignition of a season. 10 races, 3,670 kilometers, all for one black jacket. To every elite fancier watching around the world, hold your breath. The first 200 kilometers begins right now. There they go. Africa Pro 2025 is officially underway. Fanciers around the world, the moment is finally here. It's 2025, and this is the very first race for Africa Pro Premier One Loss Series.
So what a moment it is for us. It is obviously the highlight of the year for us. All the hard work that goes in with the shippings and the planning and everything, and this is what we live for. These pigeons are racing. We know this is the world's best pigeons. The way that everything has come out to the finest detail, to the T, all the planning and everything. So this in the past years, I never liked the winters, but the very best thing for me in a winter season is the fact that we can do pigeon racing, and this is now to the highest levels ever. Yeah.
Well, now our Aryan athletes are officially in the air. What did liberation look like?
Oh, beautiful liberation. Even this year in the trainings, we see the pigeons really. Me and Ron just had the other day a discussion. We feel that they are very sharp this year. They make very little mistakes up till now, and we have a tendency when we open a truck, they don't turn around the truck. They just get away. They out there. So sometimes it stresses us a bit because you always say a bad liberation is around the corner sometimes, but in this case, this group of pigeons for this season, they are very sharp. Yeah, and they are race ready. We know they're racing. This is not just pigeons that want to come back to the loft. They are so competitive. But we know, of course, this is in the genes of years and years of breeding. Those pigeons just have it in it. You will see now that on a sprinting series, which we actually starting off today. The true sprint is going to come. That is what it is all about. Yeah.
Certainly. Now, we talked about liberation already. We've got 10 weeks ahead of us, 10 races. And in order to prepare for that, we had our pre-tournament race or our pre-series race. How did that go?
Yeah, with the preseason, I was actually very impressed. Obviously, all around what we're saying is we start on short distances and stuff like that. But yeah, this year, actually, to be honest, I seen the preseason. It was totally dominated by our overseas fancies. And I don't know, like, we can have a quick look at the results of the Black Jacket standing for the first 12 trainings. Now, obviously, the first training, what we need to take in consideration is it's just very short distances, but it is obviously up till our 150-kilometer mark, and that was the rankings out there. Unbelievable to see how we can see there. From Belgium, we have two strong teams in there. We have three teams from Germany. Um, if I go from the top to bottom, it's Strata, and all pigeons are also born and bred there. Most of them in Belgium itself. Nels Godeman as well. Even the Weert, last year Blue Jacket leader going into the final.
Yes.
And now to see their name up there so early in the season, but that's all trainings all around the loft basically. But Hans-Paul Esser also was in the Black Jacket rankings going into the final last year. He and Fusilov now, the Priya. This Pigeon Palace, those pigeons all come out of Things and Face Low. There we see the name up again. Alphonse Klaas was last year 10th final, Africa Pro. His name is there in the trainings. Volga Deadlifts, they're making the new syndicates. Who knows? Maybe this year we're going to commentate a lot about them. Everything is, how can I say, we just see the stage now. So exciting times, yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about the syndicates. You mentioned the syndicates. What exactly is a syndicate, and how does it work?
So yeah, syndicates is obviously for us to make it affordable for everyone to participate in Africa Pro. Is we actually create camaraderie where two, three, four different fancies come together. They just offer the very best genetics they can, and then obviously financially they also club together, and then they can put a team of equal size into Africa Pro. And Africa Pro, the whole core of Africa Pro is to create a level playing field for all the world's best fanciers. So to create these teams so that everyone is on a level playing field. When we get to our rankings throughout the seasons, yeah, it's not all about one race or so. It's really about the rankings throughout the season where everyone have an equal size team. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about an elite race for Africa Pro, but going again once to the syndicates, how does that allow new fanciers into the market?
Yeah, so everyone, for us, it's more about have quality over numbers. So in Africa Pro, this year we grow with 500 pigeons, and I want to cap it next year on 3,500 pigeons. So, and that's just to make sure we have quality here and quality in the race, and we limit the numbers of pigeons per team. And that is what it's about for us, is to make sure it's a level playing field for the world's best fanciers.
So we've had quite a few positive changes for the new season 2025. What makes this unique? What makes it unique, Africa Pro, our Premier One Love Series, and different from the other One Love races as well?
I think what's unique about Africa Pro is the fact that it's a series. It's not one or two hotspots and then we jump to a final and then it's all about a final. Africa Pro, this very same minute as we speak, it's counting. And that will determine the result of our black jacket at the end of the year, same as for our blue jacket ranking. That minute we're talking here, we're going to talk about the same minute for next week and the same minute for the week after for the entire season on these regions. So, and in short, to explain, we copy the idea of Tour de France.
Right.
So every day, every race counts, and that gives us more greater depth to look into the genetics of these pigeons and how, if they're really true winners and they're really moving up the rankings, then we know we can't dispute the fact that they are good.
And why so many races though?
The reason for so many races is because one is not enough. Yeah, no, yeah, no, at the end of the day, is to make sure we crown the world's best. And you can't do it with one or two races. I always say, me and Ron, when we talk, a young pigeon, you need to train him into form to reach the top form. But he don't reach it in 2, 3, 4, 1 short trainings or even a hotspot. And then we accept he's in top form, and that was his genetic
Right.
makeup. So first we need to raise them into form, and then we see the results. And therefore, 10 races we feel, and this year was new to you. I actually asked me, what's new this year to Africa Pro? We had a discussion, we decide to put in an extra 550 kilometer race on race 9, which is just a few days before the final race. But in that way, we are going to make 100% sure we concrete the best fancier or the best pigeons that will come up in the top here.
Now, for those first-time viewers, first-time fanciers, can you please explain the difference between a sprint series and an enduro series?
Okay, so we're right now in the sprint series, as we are. And exciting times. I just see the velocities already, 1390. So we're going below the 1400 now, exactly as we predict, perhaps with a little bit of a headwind. And this sprint series is all about the first 5 races. And today we're going to first see the first leader in the green jacket, which is obviously the winner of today's race. But now all these times will get carried over for the first 5 races, which is the 5 shortest races of the season, all the way up to 320 kilometers. But yeah, things out of the past. Last year, we have seeing that Alban Bester was second, and the first year when we introduced the sprint series, he was first. So it really shows us certain fanciers that have good sprinters as well. And then also at the same time, same sentence, other fanciers realize they gotta, when you enter Africa Pro, you gotta make sure you have a bit of few sprinters in there, and you have also the endurance pigeons as well. And you've got to have a right balance there, because the main series, the black jacket, is actually won by the longer distances.
Right.
But you can't just have that. So because they deal with different weather conditions, where it's faster races above 1400s, that's going to come maybe as well. And therefore you need also those pigeons that can fly in that. But then you also need some pigeons that can fly in the warmer weather conditions.
Right, right. Now, looking at the different fanciers, the different types of fanciers, do you reckon that there would be guys who are only interested in the sprint series? Obviously, the guys who get their birds, the fanciers who get their birds into the full 10 races, have different types of sprinters, different type of endurance athlete pigeons. Do we have guys who only want to do the sprints?
Last year we have Dominic Valge. He was 100% committed for the sprint, and it was amazing. He was second ranked going into the final leg of the sprint last year. But yeah, and then we have the painters in Ulrich that took the green jacket eventually. So, and that was one of the highlights for the season. And that's a nice thing of Africa Pro, that is excitement throughout. And it also, in the club and union racing, the green jacket winners of last year, they're also in their own union the sprinting champions. So then it's just really, again, there's a strong message out there. If you want to look for sprinters, this is the people to go to. And that's the beauty of the Africa Pro concept. You can't get these how can I say, results that you can really rely on by just having one or two races.
Right.
Because we're doing it over consecutive racing, over a period of time, few races accumulate together. Now you can start seeing the depth in the genetics. And also what we sense is overseas in Europe, sprinting is quite a big thing. So it brings a nice excitement to this to Africa Pro season. It's a nice thing to build up to the middle part of our season, and many fans are that's for them the main thing now.
Now, Hendrik, I noticed in our pre-season top 10, we had one South African flag in the top 10. What does that mean for us?
Yeah, no, but we can't read too much into the preseason rankings
Right.
as it is there. But also, what I learned really is in the past is um, the weather have a big impact on, or let me say, I can't say I learned it yet, but I keep an eye on it. That the weather temperatures perhaps might have even more impact on race results than wind. So we love to talk about the velocity and the speed and the wind, headwinds and tailwinds and those things very much, very much. But I think we don't discuss temperature enough. And with my experience last year, race 9 was a cold morning, and we had a good leaderboard there on the Black Jacket rankings going into the final. And the final was extremely hard. And all those people that were in the top 10 rankings dropped out. That top 10 rank on that hard day, except Kingston Gijselo, they moved
Right.
to sixth position. And I think that was the temperature. It's a different type with different kind of pigeon. Yeah. So what we got to remember, looking at that leaderboard of the preseason, is short distance. We can't really read much into it because all the pigeons arrive at the same time. Yeah.
Right.
But it is interesting to know that there's so much. But let's quickly look. Maybe the pigeons are here. They can be any. Hey, they are. There they are. Here we've got the pigeons.
The very first few arrivals, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. I know the Fanciers are sitting on the edge of their seats for this one.
Looks like a breakaway pack, or 50, 40 maybe, pigeons, so that it's very good. The breakaway pack. They're circling once, twice around the loft now.
It looks like the clock.
They're going to come down. They're going to come down to the, oh no, they take another turn.
So quite often they would arrive but not immediately clock in. Is this an instinct that they have to flock together?
Yeah, that tells me they're not tired enough. But they're coming down. They're coming. The first few pigeons on the path. I wonder if we're going to get the winner now soon, anytime soon. We're going to wait for the benzene clock to register to see who's our winner. We're going to see who's the winner of this first race for 2025.
And we have contact, ladies and gentlemen. It's the leader in the group. Let's take a look who that might be.
Okay.
It looks like it might be a proper sprint finish, not much between them.
Say, Martin Hetzel from Germany, first position. And Marius Brothers in second, TNT. Wow, they also had the super final last year. TNT is in the first position. Velga, Priya, Detlefs is again on the fourth, fifth. Gupta, Simlowski, and Pruski from Poland. Alphonse Klaas, fifth, sixth position. Seventh is Rick Koels as a syndicate from Netherlands. And then also we got people from UK. Well done to them. And Gupta and Skolowski also in the ninth position. Very good chance that they're also the Fancier of the week for this race. Wow, and that's from Poland. What a special race for them. On the 10th position, we've got Team Hobart. Martin Hetzel, another pigeon in 11th. So the Fancier of the week's all about the first position.
Yes.
Martin Hetzel and the Poland people from Poland. Wow, here's more pigeons coming in.
Really quite flocking
Yeah,
now.
so it's the second group coming in.
So taking a look at, once again, 11th position, Martin Hensel. In the 12th position, we have another South African, Heeren lost 2. And in 13th position, a very, very familiar name, Gannis family lost 3.
Wow, there's Gannis family is in 13th, and Nels Guddeman in 14th, and Scott Jonker in the 15th position. Can we quickly have a look at the Fanciers of the week or Fanciers of the race results to see who is leading today, the Black Jacket and Fancier of the race?
Landing pad is looking absolutely jam-packed as you see the birds clocking in there. Beautiful, beautiful scenery and great weather as well today.
There's the Fancier of race. Okay, that's the 16th position is Martin Steffel, Alain Klutzer, Jordan Loft. But if you can go just one notch up to see the first rankings there. Martin Hetzel, I thought he's gonna take it today. He's leading the black jacket today from Germany, and then Gupta, Smalowski, and Brunski. It is also a syndicate that you mentioned before from Poland. I've been in their houses. What a wonderful people! I'm so happy for them. And then the Netherlands syndicate, Dick Roels and Van Houten is there. And Welge de Prier Dietlefs is also in the 4th position. Loft Einkammer. En Wilson en Creer, Alwyn Bester, TNT, Skalk Jonker, Kingse Gijs Louw, Len Knoetse, Gannis Familie. What the big names is all there.
Yes,
Team van Os from Netherlands. And yeah. And Team Hoymans is there in the 15th position. Look at that ranking.
No stranger to the leading positions. Team Hoymans again. Also, it would be great to see them again in those leading positions. Quite a few names that we saw from last season as well.
Yes. No, this is a top leaderboard. The fans, as we see their names, just show us this 200 kilometer was the right decision to have our first race from a 200 kilometer mark. Already showed the quality pigeons that come out, and I'm very pleased to see this good return on the pigeons and the good results for this day.
Now, we had short races pre-season, but do you think this for the birds right now, in their minds, in their hearts, in their instinct, this is just another training session for them?
So I witnessed this over and over. I have the privilege to fly with a chopper next to these pigeons, and when the truck opens, they want to be in the front. They're fighting to be in the front. So I was amazed to see this breakaway pack here. They actually fly away from the second group with quite a few seconds or minutes. We can see they're coming in. This is a true reflection of the capability to fly on a day like today. 200 kilometers is already a good race, and that's why we have race 1 on 200 kilometer mark. And there's more pigeons coming, looking really good. So we have already over 400 pigeons in just in a few minutes after the first one arrived.
There's quite a great return rate. Looking into the skies right there, you see quite a flock, another flock coming in there in numbers.
That's very good to see.
Now let's talk about the feeling of being a fancier and see your name on the list. What does that feel like, knowing that you are part of the elite, very best fanciers in the world, however your name is on the top 10?
Yeah, I don't think everyone knows really how much years and generations of planning goes into that, because the pigeon sport comes for generations, and the great-great-grandfather was actually hoping to breed always the best pigeon, and they only select for the best ones. And at the end of the day, a day like today, that really pays off. And people invest also a lot of money into their pigeons. So, and that's to have all these plans coming together. And this is the best reward you can give any fancier if that planning eventually come together. Yeah. And on a stage like this, you don't win any time. Like Walland to Martin Hetzel there, what a performance. He was also the winner of the 2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago in the Victoria Falls final. So I definitely rate these pigeons, and I'm very excited to see also that he take the win today. And it's the leader of the new green jacket, our first leader for the 2025 season. So we have over 500, going 600 pigeons now in already, and they keep coming. That's just the follow-up is fantastic. So that shows us these pigeons are race ready. They're all in top form. And we have a great season laying ahead of us.
No, certainly. Now, looking at this generational sport that fencing has become and one loft racing has become, we know that last year we saw all the generations coming and visiting us at the finals. We had little kids, we had the grandfathers all the way to the top. And, we have new fanciers and new interests from a very, very young age all the way to the top. So I think it speaks a lot for the amount of interest into the sport as well, and the growth of the sport.
For sure, I'm extremely excited. Africa Pro going to make the pigeon sport grow again. In club and union levels, we can understand it's slowly declining a little bit, but one loss is popping up all over, which is a good thing. I love it. And there's more rings now sometimes in one loss sold than ever before. You will see that one loss numbers is keep growing. And that's the reason why we also just built now another big breeding loft. It will be one of the biggest breeding lofts in the world, what I'm aware of, for pigeon racing pigeons. And that is so that the normal investor or any person that don't have a loft back at his home that really love to follow the sport, that want to see his logo, his brand on the screen, on his cell phone, and follow the race, and have a mind to breed and passion for breeding, can do so now, and even can become part of pigeon racing. And yeah, this is a beautiful sport. And to see these finely bred pigeons that perform at highest levels like that, it just excites me.
Oh, certainly. Let's take a look at the fanciers now. Again, sitting at home and watching your birds actually clock in. It's been a very long process leading up to this day that we've been waiting for now. Take us through a bit of the challenges that the fanciers go through and the amount of effort that they take to get their birds into Africa Pro.
Yeah, so first of all, they got to plan it carefully, like the people that have young pigeons right now. As we speak, it's been a month old. They got to be ready for the first shipment in 15th of September. And yeah, so that's already planning of that pairing up, that going for next season, 2026. So, and that pigeons always will have, in my opinion, the longer time they spend at Africa Pro when they arrive in October here. So if they're on the first shipment, they of course have a better chance to home well. And pigeon that's home well have a better chance to fly straight lines straight back to the loft on a day sprint series like today. And so that's all about healthy pigeons when you pair them up, which ones to pair them up, to study your breeding and to breed with proven breeders and all of that. Yeah. So there goes a lot of that, and then of course the logistics around the shipment itself. So like the Polish people, I was in Poland when they actually gather those pigeons and put in a basket and paying a transporter to take it all the way to Netherlands, and then we have to quarantine there and to ship from Netherlands to South Africa. They arrive here, they have to do quarantine here, and then we start slow training with them and not try losing them. And today they're coming second on the Fancier of the race competition. So well done to Poland. And this is what's exciting. You can sit in the northern hemisphere where it's cold, where it's snow, and breed your pigeons, and then come here in Africa and you show the people how to raise pigeons.
Oh, certainly. Now, what goes into quarantine once the birds arrive?
What goes into the quarantine?
Yes, and how do you recoup the birds?
Yeah, no, obviously when they come and arrive, we make sure they just get rehydrated. They go through stress, and the first thing we got to do is to make sure they get the love for this loft. So we will relax them and all of that. Yeah.
Well, we got a few more arrivals. You can see that they're just slightly tentative to walk in there. What's the... We're watching the birds over there now, and some of them are just looking at their loft. What's at home when you're a fancier? What are they saying? What do you think they're saying? Get in there, get in there, get in there. Come on, clock in.
Yeah. No, I think at that point is the beauty of Africa Pro. We wait just for your first two pigeons to help you with your black jacket rankings, and then obviously each and every pigeon flies against the clock. So what we want is to have all these pigeons in as quick as possible, and that shows us on top form. And soon we're gonna start recovering for the next race, which is around the corner. If everything goes according to plan, and definitely next week, early maybe next week.
And there we have it, more scenes of the birds arriving right now. What are the sentiments behind scenes that we're seeing right now, Hendrik?
Yeah, Kutsu, that is, as I mentioned before, it is just, the racing is on now. There's now 9 more races ahead of us. We've got now a result, we've got now leaders, and now we can start commentating on these pedigrees. And I want to encourage all our participants to make sure you upload your profile photo, because soon the world want to see who's these leaders, want to get to know you better. as well as your pigeon, your breeding, because we can only see that in your pigeon profile and your pedigrees, because I want to commentate about your good pigeons. So please, I want to encourage all our participants to make sure you upload your profile photo, as well as to see you at final this year in Cape Town. It's going to be very nice. Particularly, we're planning big things for this year's final. As we know, Cape Town was voted the world's best city this year in 2025, and that's the reason why we're going to be down in Cape Town for the final. We're going to make it worth it for everyone.
No, certainly. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you for the very final at Lord Charles Hotel in Erenvale. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to wrap up. It's been a very, very successful day one.
Yeah, Martin Wetzel, well done, world class, taking the lead here today with the Marius brothers and TNT done it on a third position. Velge, Detlefs and the Priya, they coming strongly through there in a fourth position, and Gupta Smolowski and Prunski from Poland on a fifth. Alphonse Klaas done it again on a sixth. Rick Koels and the syndicate in that team from Netherlands on the seventh. Eighth is RP Debbie and Gupta Smolowski again on the ninth position, and Team Howard on the 10th. Martin Hetzel taking us to be the first black jacket leaders or the Fancier of the day was Martin Hetzel. For a few seconds just behind him was Gupta Smolowski and Prunski, and then the Netherlands team, Rick Koels and the syndicate of the Netherlands. Yeah, so well done. And there's very big names we're seeing up there in the rankings, and it's exciting from the start.
And that concludes race day one, ladies and gentlemen. Well done once again to our black jacket winner. We will see you for race day two when we go live.
All the best. Till next time.